Here's what we know so far about the third legendary in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. All of this information can be found in-game, in the Scarlet or Violet book, depending on what game you're playing, and in certain areas in Area 0. We'll start with this. In the Violet book, down at the bottom, there is a disc Pokemon, and you can fill in the letters and read this. A disc Pokemon. While separated from the research team in the crater's depths, I found a strange entity. Whether it was a Pokemon or even alive at all, I know not. It bore a shell with layers of overlapping hexagons and gleamed brighter still than gemstone. Viewed as a whole, it resembled a mysterious, brilliant disc. Now, I am absolutely convinced that this is actually a puzzle. All of the blanks, all the letters that are supposed to go in the blanks, if you write them down, all of them, I believe it's a code. And they're giving us more information than we realize they are. When you write down all those letters, I put letters together and stuff like that, and I know for sure you can get the word Pokemon out of all of the missing letters. If you guys want to have a go at it, write down all of the missing letters and try to figure out what the puzzle is, that would be great. But this is just one part of what we know about the third legendary. It's also worth noting that this Pokemon probably has the ability to time travel, because the first expedition, when all of this was written down like 100 years ago, they speak of the Paradox Pokemon already there. The time machine wasn't built till recently that brought these Pokemon in from the future or past, depending on what you play. These Pokemon were already there, which means that there's probably a Pokemon that can time travel, which most likely is the legendary, down in Area 0. I also believe it has something to do with the mysterious plates. We have them shown here, but they are also in Area 0. During our descent into Area 0, we came across a buried metal plate inscribed with a strange symbol. We attempted to shave off a piece of the plate, but failed to leave even a scratch. Even determining the nature of the metal seems beyond modern science. We know not why the inscription was made, let alone how. So, obviously, the Pokemon is going to have something to do with these plates. The rest of the entries in the book are very intriguing as well, but they really don't talk about what we would consider the third legendary. Potentially, the legendary treasure does, when it says that countless days into our descent, we reached at the very depths of the Great Crater. There we found a cave with formations of gemstone shining blindingly bright as far as we could see. Perhaps that strange light itself is the guardian said to watch over treasure deep within the crater. So that would be the only thing else that I really would think that would relate to the third legendary in the Scarlet and Violet book. The next major clue we have is in Research Station 1. The book on the left says, we've determined that this energy crystallization is linked to the being we call blank. There's 6 blanks, so it's most likely a 6-letter Pokemon name. The interlocking hexagonal plates that comprise blank's shell must somehow cause this phenomenon, which I've dubbed terastallizing. So right here is another huge clue. A 6-letter name, most likely. If you played through Area 0 and didn't really stop and read all the books, you've missed quite a bit. Also, as you play through the Area 0 storyline, Arven is going to start to talk about Mabostiff. He's going to mention that some unknown entity is the one that fatally injured Mabostiff. Luckily, we saved him, but this is obviously this new Pokemon, this new legendary, is the one that ended up doing all that damage to Mabostiff. And here's one of the plates from the book. It's right in front of this massive crystal formation. And the symbols, I've been trying to needle it out, but I have no idea what they mean. Just a quick side note, at the very bottom of the cavern against the wall, you're going to find this small cave in here. So that's obviously going to have something to do with either the legendary or a new Paradox Pokemon when the DLC comes out. So there you have it, guys. Everything we know so far from in-game about the third legendary in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I've been calling it the third legendary because that's what I'm assuming it is. Maybe it's not even a legendary. Maybe it's something much more, like on the Arceus level or something like that. Maybe you want to go look at the Violet or Scarlet book and write down all the missing letters and try to formulate words from that, because maybe we actually have more information than we realize. Unfortunately, if not, we're going to have to wait to the DLC, which I've honestly never been more excited for a DLC to come out for a game, because they didn't finish the story like usual. I mean, in Sword and Shield, you had Eternatus. You figured out why Gigantamaxing was a thing. We don't know any of that from the base story in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. If you guys like this video, please subscribe and like the video. I'm going to be doing a bunch more Pokemon lore videos, and I'm going to be trying to figure out what's coming next in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.